Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to World of Wrestling. Here today to discuss about WWE Smackdown, March 5th, 2020's episode, giving you my full-on review and my personal opinion of how the show went. I got no computer up here today, folks, so I'm not doing a complete rundown. I'm just kind of going over what I remember and what I felt was important to discuss here on this episode. And I got to admit, this wasn't a bad episode. It had its flaws. I will admit that. I'm getting tongue-tied here or sounding like I'm slurring my words, which, by the way, I didn't have a sip of alcohol when I watched this show. But I have to admit, it was a decent show. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I do feel bad for Jey Uso having to eat another loss. I mean, all this guy seems to keep doing is losing ever since he joined with Roman Reigns. Seems like Roman Reigns is a fucking curse to this guy. He's always going out there and being a poor sucker who eats the loss when maybe Roman Reigns should be eating the loss instead. So Daniel Bryan wins his matchup in that steel cage in the main event. It was to determine if Daniel Bryan would get an opportunity at Fastlane for the Universal Championship, which he won by tap out. The match was great. I really enjoyed the action. It was one of those typical matches that, you know it's going to happen. There was no screw job. Roman Reigns stayed on the outside of the ring. He did not try to get involved. He didn't try to interfere. He didn't try to, make the steel cage not do its purpose, which is to keep him out of the ring. And that's what they did in this matchup. The steel cage kept Roman Reigns out of the ring from helping Jey Uso. I really appreciate that. But there was one moment in this matchup, I will admit, and I actually am coming on here to say one thing. I absolutely hate steel cage matches at this point. They are worthless, kind of like the Hell in a Cell at this point too. The only good match that's a structure that really gives you that meaningful keep outside interference is the Elimination Chamber, and actually Triple H and Ric Flair managed to overcome that. If you think about 2003 SummerSlam, where Ric Flair tossed in a fucking steel sledgehammer into the ring, and Triple H managed to hit Goldberg right in the fucking head, which probably people nowadays aren't too unhappy about that. They would probably enjoy watching that over and over again. I would be one of them. I have to admit that. But at the time, Goldberg was cool, in my opinion. Now, as he's gotten older, he really sucks. But we're not going to get all into that. We don't need to waste our time on that bullshit. That's long gone. He's not getting involved in a world title shot right now, so thank heavens for that. But I will admit the steel cage did its job here tonight. Roman Reigns stayed on the outside. It kept him out of the match. He didn't help Jey Uso or anything. And it was okay, but there was one moment that I didn't like. And that was they were trying to battle to get out of the cage through the door. And at one moment, Jey Uso connected with a super kick. And the door was still open. And instead of walking directly out the door, he decides to go for a pinfall. Why in the hell would he do that when he could have clearly walked out the fucking door of the cage? That made no sense to me whatsoever. And I hope on next week's SmackDown episode, they actually discuss that with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns could go ahead and point out that one spot that happened during the match, which was almost near to the end of the matchup itself. That's pretty fucked up, man. You don't hit a guy with a super kick, have an opportunity to get an easy way out, and walk out the fucking front door and win against one of the best technical wrestlers in this company's modern day of WWE. You don't do that. You walk out the fucking door, take any which way possible to win the matchup and win. He didn't do that. And that's something I think they could use for Roman Reigns' fuel to his fire to piss him off and actually kick the shit out of Jey Uso next week. I really believe that. And I would be pissed too if I was in Roman Reigns' shoes anyway. Not at the fact that his cousin lost the match. That's not the real reason he should be mad. He should be mad at him for being a fucking idiot because he had an opportunity to win the match to begin with, and he blew it. And that's something that I could understand if they have Roman Reigns go off on Jey Uso and kick the living shit out of him. So, gotta give him credit there for giving an excuse to Roman Reigns to actually go off on Jey Uso next week. In which case, he did not look too happy about the whole situation after the match was over. Now, in the beginning of the show, they had Daniel Bryan show up. He cut a promo, and a very good promo, may I add. I had chills running down my spine. Literally, chills running down my spine from what he was talking about. The man was talking about what is going on in real life behind the scenes in professional wrestling with him in WWE. He's a father now. He's a husband. He's taking care of his kids. So he's taking a back seat from everything that's going on in the main event scene. He's not worrying about championships. He's not worrying about going ahead and being the absolute best. He's going out there and he's doing what he loves to do. He wants to help make this business into something better. He wants to build towards the future. He feels at this point in time in his career, he has done a lot. And he wants to be helpful to the roster of today that later on in the future will be taking his spot. So he's been more lenient towards, just going ahead and caring about the future talent that's on this roster where they'll still be there and he'll be retired. I loved it, and it's true to life, so you gotta love it, if it's true, and in which case, we all know that. But he says he's tired of sitting back and letting WrestleMania go past him. He's tired of being placed on the back burner. He needs to take the opportunity with the little bit of time that he has left and utilize it to get one more big run in his career before he hangs up the boots. Sounds very similar to Edge, actually. He even mentions Edge in this whole situation. He says, out of 3 weeks that I performed, I've wrestled more matches than Roman Reigns or Edge has done since the beginning of this year. They've each wrestled 3 matches. He has wrestled more matches than that in 3 weeks. Pretty fucking impressive. Very impressive. And I got to admit, that whole thing, it seems so good. It seems like it's something you can't pass up. But with everything they've done with him in the last couple of months or so, when he got back from after his wife was dealing with pregnancy and him wanting to be with his wife because his wife and him were having marriage problems. She was missing him. She wanted her husband to be home with her while she's dealing with the pregnancy that she was dealing with. I don't blame her. I would be upset if I was even in Daniel Bryan's position. I'd feel a little bad for her. She's dealing with something completely alone that he helped bring into this world. That's his own kid. So, I mean, it's a responsibility he needed to take care of and be with his wife and show he gave a shit about her, too. So, that's understandable. But when he got back, it wasn't being places of importance. And there's something wrong with that. Because you're putting the man now in a situation where it's very, very predictable that he's going to lose. Nobody really thinks Daniel Bryan's got a shot in hell of winning this match. And I don't expect them to do that. Roman Reigns needs to lose to somebody who's equally as hyped up as he is. And until that happens, he needs to stay the Universal Champion. Now, maybe eventually they'll lead into the idea of giving the title to Daniel Bryan later on in the future, Kevin Owens. If we had Daniel Bryan from 2014 when he won the World Championship at WrestleMania 30, and actually from 2013 all the way up to March of 2014, I would say, yeah, do it. You could possibly see a title change between Roman Reigns and that version of Daniel Bryan. Because at that time, Daniel Bryan was at the peak of his career. And he was going through a ton of shit with the creative. He was dealing with winning the title from Randy Orton, then losing it. He also won the title from John Cena and so forth. So he was going through a lot of obstacles between live television obstacles and behind the scenes real life obstacles with creative that he had to deal with. And thankfully by us, we convinced creative to actually do the right thing and give him a fucking world title run. So that's the deal with Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns, though, he's at the top of the fucking peak. There ain't nobody fucking better than this guy. He's better than Kenny Omega. I don't give a shit what anyone says. He's the best fucking thing going in pro wrestling right now. Now, if you want to debate about his in-ring wrestling skills still at this point, yes, I would say he still is debatable whether or not he's the best in-ring performer. I mean, come on, I can't be that fucking retarded and say that, Roman Reigns is a great wrestler. No, he's not a great wrestler. He's a good entertainer, and he's doing what he does at the best of his ability. He is doing it better than anyone. But I will admit he has improved on his in-ring wrestling ability, and he is also able to tell a very good story with his facial expressions, his interaction in the ring with his opponent. He is fucking hitting it on all cylinders. But as in-ring performers, there's other guys that are better than him when it comes to the in-ring ability part. But outside of that, he's got the whole fucking package. This guy is fucking unbelievable. He makes Hulk Hogan look pathetic. And that's saying much, because Hulk Hogan is basically what put professional wrestling on the fucking map. Outside of Ric Flair. I think Ric Flair had a lot to do with that too. But let's get real, guys. This storyline between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan is a great story. This would have been a better story being pushed for WrestleMania. I'd have been okay with this match being pushed for WrestleMania if we would have actually had Daniel Bryan win the fucking win the Elimination Chamber. The Royal Rumble, no, I was okay with Edge. I figured Edge was gonna win. But, like my boy JD from New York 206 said on his channel, and I totally agree with this because I was in agreement from the get-go. Before I watched his fucking videos, before I watched his review on the Royal Rumble in 2021, I stated straight up it should be Drew McIntyre versus Edge for the WWE Championship. It's a matchup that's unpredictable. It's something that nobody would expect. Who could win? It's a guessing game until the match ends. And that is what we needed for WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns deliver a great story. That is why Edge and Drew McIntyre should have happened. We had that unpredictability factor in there. If we had that, that would make the match so much better, and it wouldn't have mattered who won the WWE Championship. As long as those two guys could perform a fucking 5-star classic. And I think they probably could have pulled that off, or came at least close to it. Now, would it have been the fucking main event of WrestleMania? No. Roman Reigns is the fucking main event of WWE. You're gonna put him in the fucking last match on the last night of WrestleMania. Plain and simple. And I guess that's the reason why they wanted Edge versus Roman Reigns. Because they wanted Edge to be able to appear in the last match of the last night of WrestleMania. And I get that, but it takes away the unpredictability of Edge's match. And that sucks. Edge won the Royal Rumble. If I was a person booking these matches, I would want the winner of the Royal Rumble booked in a position where nobody would not really expect, but like being unpredictable. Where either one of these guys winning would be a great thing. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. Edge winning the WWE Championship from Drew McIntyre would have been a fucking huge win. It wouldn't have ruined Drew McIntyre's image because Drew McIntyre already lost the fucking title. Now, let's just say Drew McIntyre never lost the title. He was in the same fucking type of level as Roman Reigns. Then I'd say, yeah, we got a problem here. Edge winning the Royal Rumble probably wouldn't be the best idea at all. But with Drew McIntyre already having a loss with Randy Orton in the middle of his title reign for the first one, who's to say you can't have another title change? They already did that anyway with Miz winning the damn title in a fucking horrible situation. I gotta take Edge winning the damn title than fucking The Miz. Are you kidding me? The fuck out of here. And he had the damn title for 8 days. What a joke. That's pathetic. So, yeah. But anyway, getting back to this matchup would have been better off being used for WrestleMania than Fastlane. Not to mention they had had a hell of a lot more time to build off of this. And quite frankly, they're only getting 2 more weeks? Yeah. It's on March 21st. We're on the 25th. So yeah, we'd have like 2 more weeks left to build off of this shit. That's crap. That really is. The only thing they really are going to be able to touch on here is 2015's Fastlane, if they really want to touch on that bullshit, because that was the only match they ever had against each other. So that would be a great thing to use going towards this build-up towards the Fastlane matchup that they're going to have. It should be a good match. I really do. I think that the match is going to be good. Roman Reigns did an excellent promo as well. He displayed his attitude towards Daniel Bryan and who he is. He said Daniel Bryan's a good talent, but there's a small problem. He's like the lottery. He gets lucky. And he's a guy that gets lucky and he wins sometimes. But he's not like Roman Reigns, where Roman Reigns is consistently winning and always being the absolute best at what he does. And he explained the word love as being needed or wanted, in a sense. And he said that WWE wants and needs him. His cousin Jey Uso needs him. Paul Heyman needs him. And everything in WWE is in need of him, basically. So, that was the gist of that promo. Jey Uso got a little word in. He was acting all big and bad. He sounded great, but he fucking lost. And he got hip tossed by fucking Daniel Bryan during this segment when he tried to attack him. But Daniel Bryan was prepared for it. So, that was the deal there. Next thing on this bullshit show, we had Well, it wasn't bullshit. Why am I saying that? I guess I'm so used to calling Monday Night Raw bullshit and WWE bullshit in general. I'm just kind of saying it just out of pure, routine. Or I'm just used to it. But the next thing on this show was fucking whatchamacallit. King Corbin, Baron Corbin, and the Street Profits, they had a singles match. I think it was Angelo. No, it wasn't. No, Angelo Dawkins, I think, faced Sami Zayn, and Montez Ford faced Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin won his match, and Angelo Dawkins won the match against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn actually loses the matchup, and Baron Corbin walked out on Sami Zayn. We got Sami Zayn looking like a fucking putz. I liked it better when he was a face and he was on his own. He didn't act like he was being screwed over, conspiracy theory bullshit. Now, this conspiracy theory idea that they got him doing would actually have worked if it was with Shane McMahon. They could have had Shane McMahon pushing his buttons, fucking him over at matches, setting him up in bogus matches that are fucking retarded. Stuff's a little bit similar to what they're doing on Raw with Braun Strowman. Why they decided Braun Strowman is a better pick than Sami Zayn, I have no idea. But if I was to choose between Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn to face Shane McMahon, I'd take Sami Zayn because they're both equal in size. They could get off on a believable match between these two. Braun Strowman and fucking Shane McMahon ain't gonna pull anything off together because their height, weight, and everything else is completely they're not even close. What the fuck's Shane gonna do? Fucking bounce around the ring and dance? And punt and jab him in the mouth? Like, what the fuck? Come on, man. This is ridiculous. So, that's just my opinion on that. But yeah, Sami Zayn loses to Angelo Dawkins in that matchup, I believe. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I mean, it's not like this whole show is, oh my god, mind-boggling and amazing. We also had Dominic Mysterio going up against Chad Gable. Dominic Mysterio actually wins this matchup, and Chad Gable loses. Big deal. Otis was on the outside. He didn't do a whole lot in this matchup to make any serious, alter to the matchup to make, Chad Gable win or anything. But yeah, big deal. This match wasn't all that important anyway. Cesaro faced Buddy Murphy. Speaking of Buddy Murphy, before this match, I had a segment with Seth Rollins talking about what Cesaro did with him the week before. And I'm pretty okay with this idea with Seth Rollins and Cesaro and Seth Rollins being built up towards WrestleMania if that's the direction they're going. I'd be really okay with that match. I think Cesaro really needs a match like this. Now, my fear is that they're going to put him in this matchup and make Cesaro lose. I don't want to see that. In the same breath, I think Seth Rollins needs a win. He really does. He needs a big, solid win. But not against a guy like Cesaro. Cesaro needs to get a legit win over a big name like Seth Rollins. That's how I feel on that. I think this should be a one-off thing. A build-up for a couple of, 2 months. A month and 2 weeks or so. And give us that good build through that. These guys should not compete on Fastlane. I think they should be completely off the card. And this should be just built up all the way through till WrestleMania, either on August 10th, or not August, April 10th or April 11th. One of those 2 days. I think I would probably go with the April 10th, make that like the co-main event to the main event itself. I think those two guys possibly could pull that off. I think they definitely deserve it, and I think Seth Rollins deserves to have his match, whether he wins or loses, to be really close to the main event at this point, because he hasn't been able to do much of anything lately outside of lose to several different names. But this, I would be okay with Seth Rollins losing more to Cesaro than Cesaro losing to Seth Rollins, simply because of the fact Cesaro really needs a big win at this point. He has not had anything. Seth Rollins, though, I think after WrestleMania needs to get on a hot streak, move past this rivalry. You know, they shake hands, we move on. It's a good competition match. Seth Rollins still ends up acting like a dick later on after after this match is over and we move past it. He becomes a dick still, stays that dick, and we find somebody else for him to go at with. But yeah, Cesaro faced Buddy Murphy. But during that promo, we had Buddy Murphy show up and want to talk to Seth Rollins as if he's going to be a follower of Seth Rollins again. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we have Buddy Murphy turn on Seth Rollins, joining the Mysterio family, and also ended up dating on screen with fucking Mysterio's daughter? And then that just kind of disappeared, and he's right back where he started from? Where the fuck does that make any sense? That's one rant I will give you guys. Where the fuck does that make any sense? That was the dumbest fucking thing I have ever seen in my life. What a fucking joke. That's some bullshit right there. Now, I know that this stuff is not all in order and how it happened on the show, but I'm just kind of going through my brain here and picking out the things that I remember as I go along through this review, so I do apologize if they're not in chronological order, but, I mean, I'm not gonna, go all out crazy just with a computer just to be able to do this shit. It's not that big of a deal. I don't normally do Smackdown reviews anyway. Oh yeah, speaking of other matches I probably forgot. Good old Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades, Queen of Aces, whatever the fuck she may call herself at this point. She might as well call herself the Queen of L's. Fuck, man. This broad loses to fucking Bianca Belair. Why this match even had to occur, I have no fucking idea. But if you're going to have Bianca Belair win against someone out of the tag team champions, why not have fucking Nia Jax take the fucking loss, for God's sakes? This was bullshit. These two women performed in NXT for the NXT Women's Championship, and they put their heart and soul into that match. Here, it looked like they were just going through the motions and didn't give a flying fuck what the hell they were doing. I mean, this was the biggest waste of 5 to 10 minutes worth of everyone's time that could have just been, cut from the fucking show. This was shit. This match, I gotta admit, guys, was garbage. Horrible performance by both women. Not that I think that they were, doing it because they lacked in ability or something. I don't think they cared. I don't think they were trying to make this match important or mean anything. And really, to be honest with you, with the thing being the way it was, and them not even competing over anything, like a number one contenders match for a women's championship, I don't know. I really don't. I don't even understand why she had to face Bianca Belair. If you're going to make anyone on that tag team lose, like I said just a few moments ago, Nia Jax would be the perfect fit for that loss. Not fucking Shayna Baszler. She's eaten enough losses. Why not give it to Nia Jax this time? Jesus Christ. Well, she lost to Lana in a tables match a couple of weeks ago, so I guess could give her a little bit of credit for taking a loss to a fucking wasted out performer like Lana, because she's shit. She's better off being a manager. But yeah, she ends up losing. We had Reginald. Oh my god, this motherfucker. Reginald showing up to this fucking matchup, distracting Sasha Banks, which I don't understand here. Why is Sasha Banks at ringside in Bianca Belair's corner? Bianca Belair already made her pick on who she's facing at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship, and that was Sasha Banks instead of Asuka. Okay. Very good match on paper. I imagine the match is going to be good. I don't expect Bianca Belair to win, because at this point, Bianca winning, with Sasha Banks not really having a whole lot of title defenses, making her title reign mean something, would be a fucking complete... It would be a total mistake on WWE's part to do that. They need to make her lose, have her come back at SummerSlam, and win the title from Sasha Banks. That's what needs to happen. That's how I see it. I think they need to get some more title reigns or title defenses for Sasha Banks against some other notable opponents, and then at SummerSlam, then give Bianca Belair the championship. Till then, let's keep this simple. Give these two women a memorable match. Make Bianca Belair look like a fucking $1,000,000 even in defeat. And then we move on from this until SummerSlam. That's how I see it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down on the bottom of this video. What else happened? Oh yeah. So Reginald, after that matchup, by the way, got his ass kicked by every woman, which was fucking god-awful. He looked fucking retarded. Then Reginald gets fired by Carmella. Then Reginald is backstage later on in the show and is talked to by Shayna Baszler and fucking Nia Jax. I couldn't believe what I heard in this segment. Shayna Baszler was acting like a bully. I mean, she's always been that way. But after losing to Bianca Belair, it kind of doesn't make me much of a believer outside of your not much but talk. And, so yeah. Then we have Nia Jax pop in and she says, whoa, stop doing what you're doing. You know what I see? And she goes, what's that? She says, I see he's cute. I'm like, what the fuck? You just was beating the shit out of him in the middle of the damn match. Now you're saying he's cute? Not to mention, Reginald's look on his face was like, what the fuck did I just get myself into? He just had this look like, I don't want her being attracted to me. I don't blame you. Reginald, I don't blame you, buddy. I wouldn't want Nia Jax being attracted to me either. That bitch is fucking ugly as a bitch. Holy fuck. I wouldn't want a girl like her interested in me. No offense. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a shallow asshole, but damn, has she fucking got to lose some weight. She's way too damn tall for me. I'm 5'6". I'm Rey Mysterio's height. I wouldn't want no woman like that attracted to me. Too fucking tall. Too damn tall. But yeah. It was really weird. I didn't particularly think that was even necessary to even take place on Smackdown. What else happened on this fucking show that I can't seem to remember other things that occurred? I think that's about all I can touch on at this point, guys, because anything else is like a complete blur to me. I don't particularly give a shit. It's not a big deal. Probably wasn't even that important. But yeah, the show wasn't bad. I'm not gonna say it was terrible, but I am gonna say it needs work, regardless. Oh yeah, I forgot one other segment. Apologize. Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews is now a Nigerian motherfucker. He's tapping into his Nigerian descent. His ancestors were Nigerian. Okay, great. I love the accent. Sounds very believable. If he never had his normal American accent, the way he normally talks, and he actually had that Nigerian accent from the get-go, I would have believed he was legitimately had a Nigerian accent. But unfortunately, he didn't come into the WWE like Kofi Kingston did, because at the time when Kofi Kingston was performing in the WWE when he first showed up, he sounded like he was from one of the Jamaica. Sounded like he was from Jamaica. And he pulled it off pretty well. I don't think his accent was all that bad. And he sounded really good. And I have to admit the same thing for Apollo Crews. He definitely sounds like he's got the accent down. He sounds really good. There was a moment in the promo he sounded a little like his normal self. I will admit that. So you could tell he was kind of faking it. But for a guy that went from having a normal accent, an American accent, to a fucking Nigerian guy, he doesn't sound too bad. I gotta give him credit. So, do I like the matchup between Apollo Crews and Big E? Yes. I mentioned this before. I think Big E and Apollo Crews is WrestleMania worthy. This matchup needs to happen at WrestleMania on night 1. This needs to take place, man. For the Intercontinental Championship on the main card. No fucking pre-show bullshit. This is main event quality. We need to put it on the main... Well, it's not main event. Let me rephrase that. This is not pre-show worthy. This is main card worthy. We need to start seeing some fucking great rivalries in the mid-card of these shows. These mid-carders need to have rivalries. Big E and Apollo Crews is the start. These two guys have got to tear each other apart and build each other up through this rivalry. If we do not get that, it was a complete waste of everyone's time, as well as both Big E and Apollo Crews. I saw what they had Apollo Crews do last Friday. I thought it was fucking great. He looked absolutely like a complete dick. Perfect. It was picture perfect what they did with him. The steel steps, multiple shots, and then he dropped the fucking steel steps directly on Big E while he was on the outside of the ring, and he gave him a severe concussion. Now, I hope that wasn't legit or real. I hope that was just an act, just to put Big E off TV for a few weeks to build off this storyline. And if that was the case, terrific. I'm glad he didn't get severely hurt. I don't want him, or anyone for that matter, getting a severe injury just so that they can sell off a rivalry. That's not a good way to do things. But at the end of the day, guys, these two guys deserve to be on the main card of WrestleMania, built up. They don't need to be on Fastlane. I'll be perfectly honest with you. This Fastlane pay-per-view needs to be like 2 hours and 20 minutes. Tops. That's it. Done and over with. Put this fucking shit to bed. Have 4 fucking matches. Have them for like 30 minutes or better, if you can get them to do that, depending on the matches you book, one of which is the fucking tag team titles for the women's division with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, who are competing over the fucking women's championship on Smackdown. What the fuck? Come on, man. Come on, man. I sound like fucking ESPN on Sunday morning coverage. Sunday countdown. for fucking NFL, man. Come on, man. The hell? Shit. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable how you can have a matchup like that taking place when in 2 or 3 weeks after that you're going to have these two women compete over a women's title when they should be wanting to tear each other's eyes out of their fucking heads. Not to go back to Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins. God help us all. I hope that match never takes place on another pay-per-view ever again. That was a complete, utter joke. I don't know who the fuck could possibly think that was a great idea, but Vince McMahon should be fucking ashamed of himself. Completely ashamed of himself for having a match like that ever take place. But my point being in what I just said is they should be wanting to kick each other's fucking asses. Could you imagine if you had Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin tag teaming for tag team gold while they're leading into WrestleMania for the fucking World Heavyweight title in WWF? That would have been so fucking stupid. That is the most retarded thing you could possibly do. Have two people competing over a singles title where they want to fucking win, and instead they're playing buddy-buddy to each other so they can win tag team titles? Who the fuck wants to see that? It's stupid. Just like Charlotte Flair teaming with Asuka. That was fucking stupid too. Asuka didn't need a tag team partner. She needed some fucking singles opponents to defend her Raw Women's title. The fuck's wrong with these people? Jesus Christ. Okay, there's your rant right there. I finally put a nice, decent-sized rant in this fucking video. Anyway, at this time, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.